In today's wrap-up, Armenia has extended the state of emergency till June 13th. And the Health Ministry has announced a change in strategy. The Armenian government has announced that the emergency state will be extended for a second time and will last until June 13th. Most lockdown restrictions have already been lifted, but Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan has stated that if the number of patients being treated rises above 1,500, then the government will have no choice but to reimpose restrictions. The Health Ministry today confirmed 142 new cases of COVID-19, raising the total number of cases to 3,860. 72 more recoveries were also reported and one new death. In other news, Minister of Health Artyom Leon and Minister of Infrastructure and Territorial Administration Suren Papikyan have self-isolated after it was revealed that staff members working in their individual ministries had tested positive for COVID-19. It was later confirmed, however, that both ministers have tested negative but will continue to self-isolate. The Health Ministry has announced that it will be changing its strategy when it comes to dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. Deputy Minister of Health Lena Nanushan stated at a press conference that isolation of potentially infected citizens will no longer take place at hospitals and hotels, and instead those individuals will be required to self-quarantine at home. She also repeated that adherence to social distancing and disinfecting should be maintained, and it's also possible that the government is considering making the wearing of face masks mandatory when outdoors. Minister of Health Vardan Petrosyan was interviewed by CIVILNET Stella Mehrabekyan via Skype. In a 35-minute long interview, Petrosyan covered a number of topics, including whether the peak of the pandemic has been reached, vaccines, the possibility of a second outbreak, and also the issue of the spread of misinformation regarding the virus and the pandemic. And finally, CIVILNET visited Artyom Leon, who lost his hands 17 years ago at the age of 12 after an electrocution accident. Despite this, he has been engaged in swimming, cycling and skiing, and also works as a linguist and translator. Leon also said that due to the pandemic and emergency state, he has decided to use his time to learn to play the piano online.